Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm excited to share with you today an area that's really important as leaders and even teachers as we think about the culture that we have in our schools and how our students operate, our teachers, other colleagues, community members, stakeholders. And it's really this idea around what is your future vision? As school leaders, we are tasked and challenged to help our school grow and really achieve the expectations that have been set forth by whomever that is, whether that is the community members, whether that's a hiring group, whether that's an owner of a school, the superintendent. We're really hired to be brought in for change and or to excel from where we're at and become a good to great. And so when I work with school leaders, one of the pieces that I share with them is I ask them to think about you were hired to lead the school of tomorrow, not to manage the school of today. And so, in order to do that, we really need to think about what do we want our schools to look like and really be future forward in our thinking and our actions. And so, I do this in a variety of ways, all encompassed around culture. And really, the first part that I really want to focus in on is what is our future culture? What do you want our future culture to look like for our schools? And so on the screen, you're going to see 5 different areas that I want you to think about when we talk about our future vision for our schools. And the first is, what do you want to see students doing in your classrooms 5 years from now? What's the type of learning? What does collaboration look like? What does inquiry, what does project-based learning look like? Are we asking them to solve solutions to today's problems? Or are we asking them to seek solutions for problems that haven't yet been created? And so we really want to spend some time articulating out what do we want our vision to look like for our classrooms 5 years from now. The second is, what do we want teachers to think about student achievement in 5 years? So we don't want to harp and be fixated on what is our student achievement of today, but where do we want to be 5 years from now? And what do we want that to look like? And I use the word student achievement very broadly. It doesn't have to be just performance, it could be growth. It also could be other areas in which we measure, maybe it's dual credits, maybe it's college, entrance exams, maybe it's SAT, maybe it's students' perception data, community perception data. But what do we do and how do we measure that student achievement? Could be common formative assessments that we create in the classroom. So take the word achievement and really build it out to be a much larger, more general scope around that word and what does achievement really mean. The third area, and I think it's one of the most important, is what do we want students to feel 5 years from now in our schools? Student voice is incredibly important in the big picture of how we build a culture of success for our schools. And we need to make sure our students are at the table, that they're giving us their voice, whether that is through surveys, focus groups, walkthroughs, just having one-on-one conversations with students. But what do we want students to be feeling about school 5 years from now? Next, when we're out in the community, what do we want to hear people saying about our school 5 years from now? We want to make sure that we're being the trying to think of the right word, be really the center of communication. If we don't tell our story, somebody else will. And so how are we interacting with the community to make sure that we're telling the story that we want to be telling? And if we don't tell that story, other people are going to tell it for us. And so that might mean that we're providing information on social media multiple times a day. We're using Facebook, we're writing press releases, we're sharing pictures, we're having teachers share those pieces out. But we want to make sure we're doing that in a way so that our community is seen and can hear and say good things about us. And then finally, what do we want stakeholders to be doing in our schools? We know that community advocacy is a huge part of the work that we do. And so we need to be thinking about how do we want to engage community members. So go through these 5 questions and really articulate what do we want to see our schools look like from 5 years from now? Create a focus group and ask stakeholders to complete these questions. Bring that data together and create really a visioning document around what it needs to look like. And this is the starting point as we think about our future vision. But first, we have to know our 5. Have a great day.